it's really, I think it's a good question to ask. Like, wait, which do I want to do first? Because, you know, there's the Dave Ramsey school of thought where it's like, oh, pay off all your debts, no debt, and buy everything cash, which that probably is good for the average American.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then there's the whole other side where it's like, okay, well, you need debt in order to scale, you know, to the highest level or in order to maximize.
Welcome to Uncommon State of Mind, where we debate different ways to leverage your next investment to create time freedom, legacy impact, and generational wealth so you can live that uncommon life. But in order to do that, you must be uncommon. My name is Joey, a.k.a. Mr. J. Mays.
All right, and I'm A.D., also known as A.D. the Fly Realtor.
Yep. So today, we have a topic that we're actually going to debate today, man, because, you know, A.D. thinks that you should pay off all of your, or actually, no, I believe that you should pay off all of your debts before you start investing. A.D. believes that, you know, even though you have debts, you should definitely think about investing, you know, right now.
Today.
Which, I mean, I think that's a little far-fetched. You know, you gotta be reasonable. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. Being reasonable is what got you here. You don't want to just be reasonable. You want to go get it, all right, and get after it.
Well, okay, let's go ahead and just hop right into this, man. Like, so what you're saying is, you know, let's just go ahead and put a scenario together. I just got out of school. You know what I'm saying? I just graduated. I have like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of student loan debt already in my name. You know, I'm currently, you know, maybe I have a job. It's making me some decent cash. You know what I mean? And I have a little apartment situation, and I'm doing well for myself right now. So you're saying even though I'm already, you know, $50,000 in debt.
Went from 30 to 40 to now 50. Okay.
I'm $50,000 in debt from student loans. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying rent right now, you know, just trying to keep myself afloat. You're telling me that I should go and put myself in more debt in order to attain some sort of asset, but like, I don't want any more debt. I think it may be a good idea for me to pay off some of the debt that I already have. That way I feel comfortable putting myself in position to go ahead and invest.
All right. See, first thing I'm going to say is comfort is the enemy of progress.
Okay.
Comfort is the enemy of progress. So if you need to feel comfort in order for you to go and do something, it's probably not, you're probably thinking about it all wrong, because comfort almost never is taking the route that feels most comfortable or comfortable is how everybody says it. Yeah, right. But taking the route that feels most comfortable, like, doesn't always mean that that's the route that's going to produce you the best result. So, using the same example, the kid who just got out of school, him more than anybody should be investing first. All right, because first of all, whatever job you just got coming out of school, that's probably going to be the lowest paying job you'll ever have for the rest of your life. It most likely, you know, people fall on hard times, things happen, but in all likelihood, that's going to be the lowest paying job, considering the fact that you just progress little by little every year.
Okay.
So with that job, what you can do is, if you have student loans, you can either defer your student loans, or you can get, and I'm not a student loan expert, but, you know, but I'm really not, but I do know that you can do income-based payments. You know, so what I'm saying is, with that, you can pay the minimum amount. And that might sound bad to some, because it's like, oh no, pay off your debt, pay off your debt. But what I want to present to you is that when it comes to investing, it's not about timing the market. It's about what? Time in the market. So the earlier you can start, the better off you are. So I don't want to isolate this just on real estate. Okay. Investing in general.
Okay.
The longer you're in the market, the more returns you'll get. So invest as early as possible. Pay that minimum to your debt. You know what I mean? Like, pay that debt, you know, slowly but surely. I'm not saying disregard the debt. You know, pay your minimums, pay your minimum payment, and start investing and start making a plan to where you can pay your debt and put money away to invest at the same time.
So you came and you said, what was your saying, the little slogan that you gave us before we started?
The actual true fact that I gave, if that...
Well, I was just asking. You say it's a fact. I thought...
Yeah, the fact I gave you, the fact I opened with, that was what you're asking about. Well, I mean, but it's a fact that it's a fact.
Go ahead. Go ahead and say it again.
Comfort is the enemy of progress.
Got it. Got it. Well, debt is the enemy of my pockets, bro. So this is if I have debt, like insurmountable debt that I know that I have to pay, like how's the average person supposed to say, you know what, I'm comfortable with this debt. I'm $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in debt right now. You know what? As a matter of fact, not only do I have these student loan debts, now I have, I met somebody who I think I love. We're together. We want to go buy a house. Now we wouldn't buy a house, and now I'm $150,000 in debt. Ooh, that's low. That's actually really low end. $550,000 in debt right now because now I went and got this home that I'm trying to build a family in. I have student loan debts behind me that I have to pay on. So I have debts in 2 different areas, and you're telling me that the best thing I need to do is go get some more debt?
Again, I'm not saying just the debt itself because, all right, so first of all, if you're investing in real estate, if you're actually investing, that means somebody else is paying that debt off or part of that debt off. That's one. Second off, I'm not saying, just jump out here and go pick up more debt. But see, this $40,000, $50,000 in debt thing is so funny to me because what are most people who just got out of school about to do anyways?
Work.
They're going to work, and what else are they going to do? They're going to go buy a car.
Okay. Good.
They're going to go buy a car. And the car is going to be a whole nother 30 or 40,000. So now all of a sudden, you're okay with that debt on the car, but the debt from my student loan payments, that's what's driving me crazy. It's like, bro, you just went and pulled out more debt. Go pull out more debt for something that's at least going to pay off in the end. Because a lot of you out here, your school loans aren't even paying off for you right now as it is.
See, you just proved my point. I forgot about the car. So now I got the car that I got.
No, I'm not saying get a car. I'm saying you're probably going to get a car anyway. But now you want to be worried. You want to be worried about debt when it comes to investing in something that's going to help you in your future. But you don't want to be worried about debt when it comes to the car. Man, you know what you remind me of? You remind me of the interest rate people like, I wouldn't buy a house with interest rates so high. But you pulled out another credit card. You went and got a car with interest rates are still high. But the house, that's where you draw the line.
All I'm saying,
you got 25% APR on this whole car. But now, 8% interest rates. I don't know what I'm going to do.
All I'm saying, that's advertising interest. So all I'm saying is, one, now I got a car that I got to mess around with. I got student loans that I got to mess around with. I got a house that I'm trying to build a family in that I got to mess around with. I'm in debt in so many different places. Like, how you want me to be like, you know what? I'm an investor now.
It's not even about that. It's about time in the market. It's not about I
was in time in the market broke as shit because I'm in debt left and right. So everywhere and from every angle.
You did mention something. What else are you going to get when you get out of college?
I already said
you get your student debt. Okay. You get a car. What else?
I'll have my house with my family.
No, but you're going to get an apartment, probably.
Okay, say I have an apartment first before I meet my girl. Maybe we're not in that level yet.
Okay. So you pay for your apartment so you have somewhere to
stay
and live and sleep. So why don't I just, instead of paying apartment owner Joe, I didn't even need to do that. Apartment owner Bob, instead of paying him, how about I pay myself and increase my own net worth because I did what? I invested early for that time in the market. It all comes back.
The big circle.
It all goes back.
I don't know, man. It's scary. You know what I mean? Like, if we're talking about the average American or the average person who is average educated American who go to college and did go to school, these are things that you're facing every day.
No, it's every single day. And it's a real question. As much as we made it a joke or made it comical. Like I have a client right now who's debating if they want to pay off their debt or if they just want to go ahead and use the money they have saved towards a down payment.
Right.
And it's a real thing to think about because it's like, yeah, you can pay off this debt and be free from it. Right. Or you can get this investment and, you know, and maybe potentially have higher interest rates or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And, you know, but you have to live with that. So it's really, I think it's a good question to ask, like, wait, which do I want to do first? Because, you know, there's the Dave Ramsey school of thought where it's like, oh, pay off all your debts, no debt, and buy everything cash, which that probably is good for the average American.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then there's the whole other side where it's like, okay, well, you need debt in order to scale, you know, to the highest level or in order to maximize. So, you know, where do you go with it? And it's like, you know, even if we have our own opinions, listening to us isn't going to be the only thing that tells you what you need to do.
Right.
You're going to have to soul search a little and figure out what your comfort is.
And to be honest, you're going to have to understand, you know, what your options are. So and to be honest with you, I'm saying this because we do want to make this a debate because this is how the average person thinks, but you also have to understand how institutions operate, because one thing that most banks don't do, they don't really count your student loans against you when it comes to applying for credit or applying for loans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a whole different thing that they usually don't take into account when they, you know, decide if you're worthy of being lended to when it comes to a loan or maybe a potential credit. So knowing that may factor out and it doesn't affect you when it comes to applying for specific loan products or specific credit lines, then you can operate with a different frame of mind. You know what I mean? Which is something that I learned personally when applying for business credit and things of that nature. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm $20,000 in debt from, you know, student loans. They're like, oh, the folks that I talk to from Funding Grow, which I suggest that you go talk to as well because they do fund businesses.
No, hit the link in the bio.
Hit the link in the bio.
Yeah, Funding Grow.
They're like, don't worry about your student loan debt. They don't even really calculate that. We're looking at your DTI, your debt to income ratio for like the thing, like whether it's credit card debt, whether it's like car loan, whether it's and these other factors that actually, you know, really affect whether or not they can lend you money. So understanding that, I was like, oh snaps, I might be a good candidate for a specific product.
For real.
To be honest with you, but you know, and that's just me just giving you that little bit of education. But overall, people think that way. Like, nobody likes to be in debt. I know, you know, until I understood the leverage that debt has, I was like, I don't want to be in debt to anybody. Like, you don't ever want to owe somebody money for the rest of your life.
I mean, debt's a scary thing. That's why, like, I advise, you know, if it comes to the point where it's really tough between paying off your debt and your investment, at least pay the minimum. Always be in position where you can pay your minimum each month.
Well, let's get back into the scenario that your client was in. And it's pretty much, they had credit card debt, right? They had credit card loan that was high.
I mean, credit card debt, yeah, just consumer debt in general.
Okay, so they had consumer debt in general, and then they had the option to put down cash on a specific property.
Exactly. So it was pretty much, they had about $25,000 saved, I believe, and then they're continuing to save. 25 to 30,000 saved. Let's just call it 25.
And then how much consumer debt did they have?
The consumer debt, let's call it 20.
Okay.
You know,
so in that scenario, and this is why you need to be educated, because you need to understand what makes the best sense for you. So say if you went and put that $20K towards your student loans and not towards your consumer debt, well, to be honest with you, you probably hurt yourself in actually gaining more credit or applying for specific loans, because knowing that loans like school loans are like analyzed differently. If he were to decide like, okay, I want to pay off some of my consumer debt before I go in and get this property, paying down on your consumer debt is going to do what? One, it's going to probably raise your credit score and show that you have a lower DTI, which is debt to income ratio, to these banks. So when you pay off your consumer debt, now, like if you do go in for a loan product, you're probably going to pay a lower interest rate. And knowing that little tidbit can change the entire way you see investing and how you want to invest.
Right. So ideally, even though I'm right, you should be focused on investing first before clearing all your debt.
I don't know about that because
again, it's another fact. Again, another fact that we have come across. AD is right. AD is right. AD is right.
And I just said, like, if you know for a fact paying off your debt is going to put you in a better financial situation when it comes to like the long term, it may be smarter to pay off consumer debt in order to go ahead and get a better deal in the future. For instance, I paid off my debt because I knew that I was going to get a larger amount since my debt was so low. And now I can spend that money however I want and still stay under a specific DTI because I pay off my debt first before I apply for this loan.
So when I look at it in that aspect, I consider paying the debt as you pretty much already investing. Like if you're making actions and moves towards investing, like I already consider all those. See, okay.
Oh, so
no. I just want to make it clear because my thing is, all right, so for one, all right, let's say you're working to become something. I don't think you become that thing only once you've got to the finish line. You are that thing every day that you're working on becoming that thing.
Correct.
So if you're doing things to be an investor on a regular basis with the goal of eventually being an investor, you're an investor when you pay off that debt. You're an investor when you figure out what loan product. You're an investor when you start looking at properties. You're an investor when you start checking the stock market. You're already an investor, even if you don't have any money in that. You're already doing things that make you an investor. You're an investor to me. My whole thing is this idea of, oh, well, I just got to pay off all debt. Like the example you rolled out is different from the idea of just paying off all debt. If you're strategically paying debt because you are just trying to get to a specific threshold so that it can unlock more investing opportunities, you're an investor and you're thinking like AD because you're ready to invest and you probably would have invested first. So I just want to make sure I bring you back that even when Joey sounds right, it comes back to me being right. Like, I just want that to be clear.
There's nuance now. You see, add nuance to it now.
Ain't no nuance. That's what it is. Again, the facts. So I'm just going to hit you with the facts. But no, in all seriousness, it's very true because Joey was dropping a lot of bars there where it's like, yeah, you know, maybe you don't need to pay off all of your debt, but maybe you just need to pay off enough to get to a specific point. So then at that point, you now have access to either more funding, or you have access to a better interest rate, or you have access to whatever it may be. So think about those things. Those are all things to take into consideration. And don't be too stuck to any one thought. You know what I mean? Like maybe you are eager to invest. Nothing's wrong with sitting on your money. You know, don't be so eager to invest that you jump out there and do something stupid. You know, or don't be so eager that you trust the wrong person, or you didn't vet them well enough, or you don't know what they're trying to lead you into, and now you're doing worse off than you were before. You know what I mean? So, and at the end of the day, maybe you can't go wrong paying off your debt, but you can slow down your overall progression by only thinking about debt. You
see how that came back to
all you Dave Ramsey disciples who are worried about your debt, like go do that. And everybody else, they're going to go engage in enterprise and the private sector to make more money. So then when they pay off their debt, it's not even something they're worried about. They just have extra funds.
What is that quote? It was from Thanos. It's like, all these roads lead back to me, or something like that. That's pretty much what Jesus did. All these roads just led back to me. Making sure that specific debt is paid off.
My favorite thing that Thanos did was when he snapped half the people off. Because I'll snap half the show off right now so that you can only hear one factual person.
Man, but okay. Good points all around. But what we really want to do is hear from you guys. What do you guys think is the right strategy or move to make? Is it best to pay off all of your debts first before you invest? Or do you think that you should, even though you have debt, invest anyways and, spend more time in the market, as AD alludes to and talks about all the time? When you go ahead and vote for me and say that I'm right, just do it in secret. Just sell those secret.
Man, he reaching. He's reaching.
My boy's feeling.
He's reaching right now. He's trying so hard to gain your vote because he knows that I demolish as far as who the people agree with.
Yeah.
And the people agree with me because what I talk about is increasing your pockets. He's talking about is not having student loans. So keep that in mind. You worried about student loans and I'm trying to maximize your income. Come on now.
So the beef for today is be sure of your tolerance when it comes to debt, because some people understand debt, they know how to leverage debt, and they know how to work it in their favor. But there's other folks out there who just get antsy and get nervous when they have a lot of debt that they're faced with, and it can affect the way that they operate in everyday life. So,
right.
We want to make sure that you're sure of the tolerance that you have. That way, just for better quality of life.
You heard the man. You don't want to be out here with sleepless nights, all right? So be tolerant, or be sure of your tolerance. Be you and be uncommon. All right, guys.
Stay up.